Do you want to create more effortless power in your forehand? Now I know there's already a ton of videos out there claiming effortless power, but this is a drill I personally use to really develop a lot of the racket speed that I can put on the ball. And it's helped me, it's helped some of my students, and I think it'll help you too. So go out and try it because it's worked for me and hopefully it'll work for you too. So why is this drill so important? The more efficiently you can use your body, the less effort it's going to take to swing the racket faster, and that's why this is so important. The better you get at this, the harder you can hit the ball with the least amount of effort. And this is why if you've ever seen pros hit, it seems like they are crushing the ball, but they're not putting in the same amount of effort you're putting in. And this drill will help you start evening that out, where you start crushing the ball more often and put less effort. So let's get to the drill. Now the key is this: you already have to understand how to use your body. So if you need to know how to use your body more, go watch this video. It'll be somewhere in the description, but watch this video after this video. So that sounds crazy, but here's what we want to do. The general idea is using your legs to push your hips, and it pulls the shoulder, and then it pulls the racket. But there's an area where a lot of times I've in the past been making where I swing and my shoulders and hips are moving almost at the same rate. Now what I've been working on that's been so dramatically changing is getting my shoulder to create some lag, and then using that to almost be like a slingshot or rubber band to snap it back and create even more force. Now this is the other warning I'll say: if you're new to tennis, go ahead and stick with just using your hips. You can still generate a ton of power, and what I mean by just using my hips is just making sure if I'm turning my hips, it's going to pull the racket. We're going to add on or bolt on another area that can really take this to the next level. And what this is making sure that when I start pulling forward generally with my hips, what's going to happen is my arm is going to get left behind. What this is going to do is stretch my pectoral muscle. So when it gets left behind a little bit, it creates this stretch, which then can be snapped back. So it's like a rubber band being stretched, and then I let it go and let it snap back. Now the warning with this is we don't want to stretch it too far. I see some players, they're trying to overly stretch, and it's like you stretch so far, it makes it hard to snap that energy back. And so the drill I have for you is really, really simple. You can use a basket, or you can use a wall or something, and all I want you to set up like if you're about to hit the ball. So I'm loading my legs here, and I'm gonna have my hand pushing against the basket here. My hand is in alignment with my shoulder. From here, what I want you to do is actually not what we're gonna do, but I want you to feel the difference. I'm gonna turn my hips, which is gonna push the basket. So if I turn my hips here, which is gonna turn my shoulder, it'll push the basket out of the way. So we're gonna do that like 2 times so you can just see that. So I turn my hips, it's gonna turn my shoulders, and it's gonna push the basket out of the way. This is totally fine. You can create a lot of power with that. But what we're gonna do is take it to the next level and create a little bit more stretch so we can have that snap back. And so what I mean by that is now, instead of turning and have everything push the basket, I'm gonna turn and leave my hand behind. So it starts to have a slight stretch in the chest. And so the difference is this: instead of turning, having it go with the basket, now I'm gonna turn and leave my hand there, but you feel this slight stretch. This is overstretching, it's too tight. I just want to feel a slight stretch. So now I'm still turning my hips and noticing how my chest is going forward and my hand is staying back. Okay, so I want you to do at least 5-10 times so you really start feeling how this AKA has to also be loose to let it stretch. Okay, stretch. Okay, and that little stretch now happens where I'm gonna push the basket away, and I'm going to start stretching and then pull my hand behind it. And so what you can do with the basket, just to get that sensation, is stretch, feel that stretch, and then let your hand pass. Stretch and let the hand pass. Stretch and let the hand pass. And you'll notice as that stretches, it almost, when it gets to this point, it pulls it faster. And this is the trick, that even if I'm using my racket here and I'll put the basket out a little bit, I can stretch, but I left the racket there, and if stretch, boom. And so you get this feeling, if you've ever heard the term lag and snap, a lot of times players are trying to lag and snap. They're trying to do it with the wrist or something, but really it is just relaxing. So when you stretch it gets left behind and pulls the racket back. The other thing you'll notice when it lags and snap is that it'll put the racket in the right position. Even with my racket like this, if I stretch it and my hand starts pulling the racket, look what it does to the racket. So you don't have to make this happen if you just relax and let everything happen, meaning that let the racket get into position. Now you still have to guide the racket as far as the racket face and racket path, but this is a huge drill to really help you start accelerating. From here, just use a drop fed ball. So what I'm gonna do is really focus on going slow, pull, and you can see how I'm really focusing on this stretching action first. Pull, and I really feel that I don't have to create a lot of effort. And now It's just a matter of making sure the racket face and racket path are right. Now from here you can use a ball machine, which can now feed you a ball, and you can work on the timing, because the timing is a little different. That I'm going to have to open and pull my chest earlier to give my hand and time, my racket, to get time to get to the ball. So in this situation here, I'll start here, and you can see really quickly as I'm leaving that racket back and kind of having that hand snap back, I can generate more pace. And the key is, if I want more pace, I start using my legs more, which sends the chest forward faster. And so from here, this really adds a lot of acceleration to my ball. And it's such a big key to making sure that I'm not muscling the ball. Everything's very loose and relaxed, and I'm giving myself time to make contact here. So I hope you enjoyed this drill. This drill has made a huge difference for me and a lot of students, and I just wanted to share it with you because I think it can make a huge difference for you. And if you want to learn how to make sure you have the lower part right and you're separating right, make sure you watch this video because it'll take you through the steps to make sure you have that down pack, so when you add this to it, you can take your forehand to the next level.